Plastic Man has undoubtedly emerged as one of the most beloved characters in the DC universe over the years. His seemingly overpowered abilities and humorous personality create a unique combination. A superhero with the power to stand toe-to-toe with some of the most formidable members of the Justice League, including Martian Manhunter in his true form. However, he often isn't taken as seriously as his powerful peers due to his lighthearted nature. The prime DC universe can count itself lucky that Plastic Man turned away from a life of crime and continued his journey on the side of justice. In other realities within the multiverse, we see a vastly different and more sinister side of the character. In today's video, we will delve into 3 of the most vile and terrifying variants of Plastic Man from the DC multiverse. Our first variant on the list is Plastic Man from the Flashpoint timeline. In this dark reality accidentally created by Barry Allen's attempt to change the past, Plastic Man is a brutal and sadistic villain who is a member of the infamous Legion of Doom. This alternate timeline is a grim one where Thomas Wayne takes up the mantle of a more violent and ruthless Batman, and the world is on the brink of destruction as the Amazons and Atlanteans wage a devastating war. In this Flashpoint timeline, Plastic Man is far from the lighthearted hero we know. He is a ruthless criminal who will stop at nothing to achieve his goals. When one of his allies, Heatwave, is imprisoned by Cyborg, the premier superhero in this reality, Plastic Man orchestrates a gruesome and terrifying prison break. He shrinks himself to tiny proportions and infiltrates the body of one of Heatwave's cellmates, the minor villain Clue Master. Plastic Man then violently emerges from the unfortunate villain's mouth, killing him in the process. The mere sight of Plastic Man strikes fear into the hearts of other prisoners, who are utterly terrified by his presence. Interestingly, Plastic Man seems to despise being referred to by his heroic moniker. It serves as a grim reminder of the terrible deeds he committed as a villain. This inner conflict suggests that a small glimmer of heroism still resides deep within him. This is further evidenced when Heatwave betrays his fellow villains and plans to crash the flying prison into Detroit, Cyborg's home city, seeking revenge. Plastic Man objects, recognizing that killing innocent city residents is unnecessary, and their goal should be to escape from prison. Nevertheless, make no mistake, Flashpoint Plastic Man is still incredibly brutal. He swiftly eliminates other villains who assist Heatwave and goes as far as ripping out Sportmaster's heart. However, Heatwave exploits Plastic Man's vulnerability to sudden changes in temperature, melting him. Unbeknownst to Heatwave, Plastic Man survives and takes the opportunity to exact his revenge. He sneaks into Heatwave's cell and brutally kills cellmate for the second time, leaving Heatwave in a state of terror upon his arrival. Although Flashpoint Plastic Man is terrifying, he's still a human, and in theory can still be reasoned with. But the same can't be said about our next entry, Plastic Man from the DCeased universe. This reality has been almost entirely corrupted by the anti-life equation, turning its residents into mindless, zombie-like creatures. Even the Justice League itself has succumbed to the virus. Poison Ivy, desperate to protect herself and those close to her, establishes the Gotham Jungle, a safe haven disconnected from the rest of the world and safeguarded by powerful magicians. Among the survivors is the iconic sorcerer John Constantine who, with the help of his friend Zatanna, assembles a small team of superheroes tasked with rescuing people worldwide and bringing them to the safety of Gotham. During one of their operations, Swamp Thing approaches them with unsettling news. Swamp Thing, who has a unique connection to Earth's plant life, informs Constantine that, in addition to Ivy's garden in Gotham, there is another one in Australia. However, Swamp Thing has lost contact with this garden and can sense its anguish and torment. He beseeches Constantine for his help, and Constantine reluctantly agrees to investigate. Accompanied by Zatanna, Detective Chimp, Blue Devil, and Ragman, Constantine's team arrives in Australia. They discover that the Green Garden is now surrounded by hellfire and a moat filled with blood. But upon closer inspection, they realize that the moat isn't actually filled with blood. It's filled with zombified Plastic Man turned into a gigantic, horrifying monster that seems bent on destruction. Plastic Man has surrounded the garden, trapping its inhabitants inside. Plastic Man immediately launches a ferocious attack on the heroes, impaling and engulfing them from the inside. Ragman falls victim to the relentless assault and is brutally killed. Zatanna faces imminent suffocation, saved only by the heroic intervention of Blue Devil. Blue Devil sacrifices himself to save his ally, but in the process he is torn apart by the zombified Plastic Man from the inside. The remaining heroes are shielded by Swamp Thing, who encases them within a massive sphere. Plastic Man surrounds the sphere and is ready to consume it in its entirety. The heroes' lives hang in the balance. However, the magicians band together, and Zatanna orders Swamp Thing to clear the plants near Plastic Man's weak point. She then unleashes a powerful and dangerous hellfire using her magic, a hellfire known to burn anything and anyone. In this fiery onslaught, they burn the monstrous Plastic Man, averting the terrifying threat that he posed. While they succeed in preventing Plastic Man's rampage, their victory comes at a heavy cost with the loss of their close friends and allies. Ragman and the Blue Devil. The DCeased universe offers a dark and twisted twist on the typically humorous character, turning Plastic Man into a nightmarish force of destruction. The last entry on our list features a version of Plastic Man known as the Plastic Men, spelled with the double S. This iteration of the character is perhaps the most evil variant in the multiverse. He hails from Earth 10, an alternate reality in which Superman lands in Germany in the 1930s instead of Smallville. The German government uses Superman's power to win World War II, and by 1956 they have conquered the entire world. In this grim reality, the freedom fighters, led by the mythical superhero Uncle Sam, emerge to resist the German occupation and aim to liberate their country and ultimately the entire world. During a secret meeting of the freedom fighters where they discuss a potential plan to sabotage a factory, the American flag in the room suddenly moves. It is revealed that the Plastic Men have disguised themselves as objects in the room and have gained knowledge of all the freedom fighters' plans. Unlike the Plastic Man from the Prime Universe, this variant is seemingly composed of multiple individuals collectively known as Plastic Men. They are loyal servants of the brutal German government in this reality. The Plastic Men launch a deadly attack on the freedom fighters, blocking all the exits and preventing them from escaping. They systematically take out the heroes, and most of them suffocate and die. The surviving heroes are captured, sentenced to death, and some are sent to labor camps. The entire ordeal is televised to the wider public in an attempt to break the American spirit. When the Plastic Men confront Uncle Sam, he disappears just as they are about to battle. The prior events and the breaking of the people's will lead to Uncle Sam's disappearance. He doesn't return for several decades, until the people of this world finally rebel against their occupiers. What makes this version of Plastic Man truly terrifying is his loyalty to the brutal government and the apparent enjoyment he derives from taking out the freedom fighters. This portrayal potentially makes him the most evil variant of the character. As you can see, Plastic Man, despite his often goofy nature, has the potential to become one of the most terrifying villains in all of DC. His powers are incredibly versatile, and in theory he could take down some of the most powerful superheroes on Earth. Thankfully, in the majority of the multiverse, Plastic Man remains on the side of the law and is a humorous and heroic character. However, the examples of these darker variants showcase the truly terrifying potential of his deadly abilities.